If I woke tomorrow as a dolphin, sleek as a sentence and tuned to echo, the ocean would stop being scenery and become grammar. Water would be the page, pressure the punctuation, and sound the ink I carry inside my head. I rise to breathe and the sky is cool sugar on my lungs. I fall back through my own reflection, and the surface shuts like a soft door behind me. The first clicks leave me, and return with a map, the sandy bottom as a gentle slope, a sleeping turtle like a parenthesis, far-off pilings as stubborn exclamation points. I don't look at the world as much as I read it, and every line is alive. Morning loosens in ribbons of blue, my pod gathers from the dark, like a sentence finishing itself. We greet by brushing pectoral fins, 1 touch for hello, 2 for stay with me. Calves wobble between mothers' flanks, practicing breath the way new singers practice tempo. Our shadows lace and separate under us. We don't hold meetings, we hold formation, and formation is the way we tell each other that the day is safe enough to try things. Echolocation is not magic, it is patience with speed. I pack clicks in my forehead and launch them forward. They scatter, strike, return, and I weigh their applause. A faint smudge becomes detail, anchovies stacked tight, a tarpon hovering like a priest, the glass-thin line of a nylon net. I'd rather not learn the hard way. With practice, the world resolves faster than thought. I can tell a fish size from its echo's shadow, its health from how the sound clings to its scales, its direction from the way the reply leans. Hunger is honest, but it isn't cruel. We herd schools toward the green-walled shallows and whip our bodies into commas that turn the sentence where we want. A few of us dive deep and rise like punctuation to startle the ball. Others slice across the top with open mouths, straining water through teeth like sieves. When we're efficient, birds arrive, knowing our rules, terns falling like white arrows, pelicans thudding like kind hammers. We leave plenty. Generosity keeps the neighborhood from sharpening its teeth. A full ocean is a calmer town. Play is not a child's luxury, it is our laboratory. Someone pops a ring of air from their blowhole, and a perfectly round halo drifts away. We take turns biting it, splitting it, building smaller rings that nest inside larger ones. A calf steals a scrap of seaweed, and the game becomes keep away, then passing, then balance this crown while you turn upside down. Our bodies memorize angles while our brains remember laughter. Later, when a shark comes up from the bottom like a sentence without punctuation, it is the same turn and twist that saves a life. Risk speaks many dialects. Bull sharks draft behind the shade of the boat ramp. We keep our flanks angled, never giving a full target. Orcas pass twice a year, grammar teachers with too much certainty. We hear their low rooms of sound, long before we see the white flash of lesson. A fishing line scrawls under a pier. I taste the metal itch, and feel the slack tug a warning across my jawbone. The ocean is honest, it tells you with pressure when something is wrong. We listen with our ribs. Sound carries far, but quiet carries further. Engines bruise thought, the deep thump of a freighter smears echoes into fog. We adapt by diving beneath the noise, finding the clean lanes of silence, like back roads on a holiday. Sometimes the radio voices from above are kind, sometimes they are careless. When they are kind, our calves learn to be curious without being fools. When they are careless, we become conservative, staying in the coves where mangroves comb the water with green fingers that calm the surface and hide the soft. There are routes we do not explain, only perform. Autumn finds us tracing the edge of the continental shelf, where cold tongues of water bring new fish up from stories we can paint, visit. Winter pushes us inland, river mouths warm with freshwater secrets and the taste of silt. We don't use calendars, we use currents and stars. I've never met the mathematician who wrote the tides, but I'm fluent in their humor. If the estuary is tea-colored, the mullet will be high. If the wind carries pine, the menhaden are rapping the point. Calves are our arguments for the future. They are born tail first into a midwife aunt's waiting mouth, and steered to the surface before the first sentence of their life can end. They forget fear every 12 minutes, and we remind them by example rather than lecture. Here is a stingray, note the tail. Here is a jelly, note the no. We tether them with touch, not rope, and teach them to make maps with the noise in their heads. When they sleep, one half of their brain naps, while the other stands guard. We circle them anyway, because vigilance is love with a job. In the heat of day, the water becomes clear as glass, and our reflections travel upside down beneath us. We draft each other, bubbles, to save energy, the way cyclists draft wind. We slalom between the glossy backs of manatees, those patient grey parables, who forgive all speed. Once, a sea turtle older than my grandmother lifted her barnacled head beside me and exhaled like a rumor from before engines were invented. Some neighbors are calendars, some are clocks, some are weather that remembers your name. Storms give us homework. Barometric pressure tilts inside my mouth, distant lightning writes skeletons on the underside of clouds. We tighten our formation and move to deeper water, where the waves crest without breaking teeth. After the front passes, the ocean tastes rinsed, and the fish act surprised to be fish. We serve the leftover swell for the joy of yes, the bright slap of air on skin, the effortless curve into gravity's handshake. We are not saints. We squabble, we steal a fish that someone else cornered. We act our age and then apologize in the currency we all accept, time side by side. Two dolphins will hover, parallel, barely moving, and it looks like nothing is happening. Everything is happening. A slow press of fin to fin says more than a speech. A scar asks for a story and receives a memory. An old male's teeth are worn to smooth pebbles. He takes the easiest fish, and we pretend not to notice that it was offered. Night folds the surface into velvet. The moon writes long silver sentences that break under our backs when we breathe. Bioluminescence sparks in our wake. We draw calligraphy none of us can read but all of us feel. In the black water, my clicks become brighter, sharper. I throttle them down so they don't bounce off the sky and confuse me. Sleep is a braid, a minute on, a minute half on, a minute listening through the bones. We drift in the lee of a sandbar, and the tide edits the shoreline's grammar while we dream. In the end, my life is simple in the way poetry is simple, layers hiding inside clarity. I wake, read the world, thread myself through it without tearing, and leave fewer knots behind than I found. I teach what I can, learn what I must, and accept help as easily as I give it. The sea is large, but our we is larger. If I am a dolphin, then my proof of living is easy to check. The clean arc of a breach against morning. The circle I hold with my people when danger writes its name. And the quiet line of bubbles I leave behind that says, plainly, I was here. And we are going on.